Good afternoon, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. This is Rich again, back for your second video blog of the day for Monday, September 21st, 2015, around 2:49 in the afternoon, Belleville, Massachusetts. Very nice and sunny day out. Kind of a fall-like day, highs in the 70s, low humidity, a little bit of a breeze and stuff, a little bit crisp. Saw some people wearing jackets already in fleece. And it's that time of year. It's still summer. I'll be wearing shorts until the cold weather or when it gets real cold. Some news to report. It's sad news to report in the world of Hollywood. Actor, screenwriter Jack Larson, known for playing Jimmy Olsen in the 1950s classic TV series The Adventures of Superman, passed away at the age of 87. Jimmy Olsen, Jack Larson kind of got typecast after The Adventures of Superman ended, and he transitioned into becoming a screenwriter and stuff. So prayers to his family. That's about it on the news. My second video blog subject of the day is my review of WCW Fall Brawl 1995, the War Games, which happened at Asheville, North Carolina. The main event was War Games featuring the Hulkamaniacs, captained by Hulk Hogan, WCW United States Champion Sting, Randy Macho Man Savage, and Lex Luger, facing off against the Dungeon of Doom, which was Shark, Zodiac, Mane, and Kamala, with Kevin Sullivan with a special stipulation. The Hulkamaniacs won. Hogan got 5 minutes with the Kevin Sullivan. Plus, there was other matches on this card. Before the pay-per-view, they had Hulk Hogan come with his Harley Davidson, and then the Giant has the monster truck of the Dungeon of Doom. He runs over Hulk Hogan's Harley Davidson. And they had 4 matches before the pay-per-view card, which was on WCW main event on TBS before the pay-per-view card. These matches are as follows. Big Bubba beat Mark Thorne was a squash match. The Disco Inferno beat Joey Maggs, another squash match. Alex Wright, Das Wonder Kid, dancing like him, faced off against Eddie Guerrero. I lie, I cheat, I steal. But that was way before Latino Heat. This was a no contest match, and the American males, Marcus Alexander Bagwell and Scotty Riggs, defeated the Nasty Boys, Knobs and Sags, with the special stipulation whichever team won this match would get a WCW World Tag Team title shot the next night at Nitro. And these were the matches that happened on the Fall Brawl pay-per-view, which was called by Tony Schiavone and Bobby the Brain Heenan, the voices of this era of WCW, where the big boys play. They started to hype this up, where the big boys play. So this is the big boys era of WCW. And the first match was a number 1 contenders match for the WCW United States Championship. It was Johnny B. Bad facing off against Brian Pillman. And this was a classic match, over 20 minutes. It was supposed to be 20 minutes match, but it was so great that the referee extended it to have a decisive winner. Back and forth moves. Flying Brian was playing the sublet heel in this match. He was transitioning to his loose cannon character and stuff. Flying Brian had put Johnny B. Bad in a black backslide. 1, 2, but the bell rang, and that ended the match, but the referee wanted a decisive winner, so he continued. It was another 10 match, back and forth. Johnny B. Bad wins when both wrestlers have cross body block, but Bad goes over Flying Brian for 1, 2, 3. Johnny B. Bad wins the number 1 contenders for the U.S. title. The next match was a grudge match. It was Sergeant Craig Pitbull Pittman facing off against Cobra, and this was an awful match. It was a disgusting match in my opinion, because before the match, it was a contestant that came in to distract Cobra, and then Sergeant Craig Pitbull Pittman attacks the Cobra, beats him about like 70 seconds. This was an awful match. Probably that shouldn't have been on the pay-per-view. The next match was for the WCW television title. It was DDP, Diamond Dallas Page, with the Diamond Doll, Kimberly, and Max Muscle facing off against the WCW television champion at this time, the Renegade, with the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart. And the fans hated the Renegade like crazy because he was an Ultimate Warrior ripoff. They were booing the Renegade out of the building, and DDP was actually getting cheered, even though he was a mid-card heel, and DDP's character wasn't up to that potential. He's mainly like a kind of a goofy mid-card wrestler. And he had the Renegade going for his finishing move, but Max Muscle grabbed the Renegade's foot, and that led to the Diamond Cutter by DDP, Diamond Dallas Page. He pins the Renegade 1, 2, 3. Diamond Dallas Page wins his first title, the WCW television title, and this match was, awful. Another awful match. The next match was for the WCW World Tag Team Championship. It was Harlem Heat, Booker T, and Stevie Ray with Sensuous Sherry facing off against the WCW Tag Team Champions at this time, Bunkhouse Buck and Dirty Dick Slater. They had Colonel Rob Parker in their corner. This was a 16-minute match. It was awful, in my opinion, because, both teams weren't as great. Harlem Heat was a great team, but, being stuck with Bunkhouse Buck and Dick Slater, who were well past their prime, was, they were carrying him in the match and stuff. Plus the antics of Sensuous Sherry and Colonel Rob Parker, like having a love infatuation, was, not necessary and stuff like that. And Sherry and Colonel Rob Parker were kissing in the second ring. The referee gets knocked out. And then the Nasty Boys come in and they hit Bunkhouse Buck with the shoe. And that gets Booker T to pin Bunkhouse Buck with the 1, 2, 3. And the Harlem Heat win the WCW World Tag Team Championships. Afterwards, Bunkhouse Buck and Dirty Dick Slater get mad at Colonel Rob Parker, saying that, why are you doing this for? You should focus on the tag team. The next match was Arn Anderson facing off against Nature Boy Ric Flair. Arn Anderson and Ric Flair were good friends, best friends in the world. But they were showing some tension in summer of 1995 because after a handicap tag team match with Vader on the Clash of Champions, there was tension between Arn Anderson and Ric Flair. Flair and Anderson did not help out each other in matches and stuff. It got to a boiling point where Arn Anderson challenged Ric Flair to this match. And actually, Arn Anderson was kind of the de facto face in this match, while Flair was still the heel. This was probably one of the classic matches that WCW could put on at this time. And it was over 20 minutes. They had several of the wrestlers watch because they never thought Ric Flair and Arn Anderson would wrestle. It was very classic. But at the end, when the referee was being distracted and stuff by Arn Anderson, Flying Brian Pillman attacks Ric Flair, kicks him in the head, and Arn Anderson gives the DDT to Ric Flair, pins him 1, 2, 3, 22 minutes, and Flair is out, and Anderson forms an alliance with Flying Brian Pillman, turning Pillman heel in the process, and Anderson being the heel. And afterwards, a few wrestlers chased off Goel and Alex Wright chased off Pillman and Anderson. This was such a classic match and stuff. It probably was maybe the best WCW match of 1995 in my humble opinion. And the main event was War Games, a match beyond between the Hulkamaniacs, Hulk Hogan, WCW World Champion, Sting, WCW United States Champion, Randy Macho Man Savage, ooh yeah, dig it, and Lex Luger substituting for Vader, who was, they said the storylines, he was too dangerous for War Games, but in reality, Vader was fired by WCW for getting into a backstage fight several weeks earlier with Paul Mr. Wonderful Orndorff, who was on the WCW booking committee and stuff, but that's another story for another day. Facing off against the Dungeon of Doom, which included Kamala Kamala and Shock and Zodiac and Maine. And this probably was a disaster and stuff like that in a match. Kamala, Zodiac, Shock, and Maine were goofs. They weren't serious heels. They were mid-card heels at best. And the special stipulation had, if Hulk Hogan's team, the Hulkamaniacs, won, Hogan would get 5 minutes with the Taskmaster Kevin Sullivan. They was having some tension between the Hulkamaniacs because Luger could not be trusted and stuff, but you know, they smoothed things out. Hulkamaniacs won this match when Hulk Hogan got Zodiac to submit and stuff, and the fans were going wild, and then Hulk Hogan had 5 minutes with Kevin Sullivan in the ring. But halfway through, the Giant comes into the ring and beats up on Hogan, attacks his neck and stuff like that. Hogan's out cold, and then the Dungeon of Doom and the Giants celebrate, and this was probably another awful war games, in my humble opinion. This is the second half of 1995 for WCW was like probably the worst there's been, even though Nitro started, was with all this repetitiveness of Hulk Hogan being in the main events. His character was stale because of like the say your vitamins and stuff like that. The red and the yellow, more and more fans were booing Hogan and stuff, and that was, you know, very awful. What did I think of this fall brawl pay-per-view? Despite the two matches with like the classic ones with Johnny B. Bad and Flying Brian and Arn Anderson and Ric Flair, the rest of the card stunk. I'd give it a C-. If they did not have Johnny B. Bad, Flying Brian classic, and Arn Anderson Ric Flair classic match, this would have been an F. This is awful and stuff. Recommended to avoid unless if you want to watch the classic two matches between Johnny B. Bad and Flying Brian and Arn Anderson and Ric Flair. That's about it on that. The third and final video blog of the night will be about Bruins goaltender Tuukka Rask. Keep calm, everybody. I'm a Julie Button guy. Julie Button is new 6. She rocks and has nice legs. Molly Rosenblatt rocks too. And Amy Swenzy rocks. And Elizabeth Hart rocks. And in the words of Sean Lucha, get out! See you later, Facebook.